Goodson's Adventures, y'all. We here tonight. We getting real close to Thanksgiving, and we're thankful for that. And let me move y'all up a little bit. So I'm solo right now. Man, y'all, this Gulp 1-inch, I like the black minnow better, but this is the smelt color. So what we're doing tonight, Mama's got the kitchen a mess, and she's in there starting her desserts, and so shut the door so we don't. She's gonna be running a blender. She's destroyed that half of the house, and I've destroyed this one, half of the house. So what we're doing today, we went through a ton of baits this year, ton, and I just wanted to give a rundown of some stuff that I use and what Goodson's Adventures, Mama's favorite baits that we used for years, and we got introduced to a lot of things this year, y'all. Especially from y'all fans of YouTube. All y'all's comments and stuff has opened up some things to us, so want to give you a rundown. This little crappie bait, right? These curl tails, which we started using. They're just a swirl tail, tricolor, but black and blue. So Mama whooped me on these, y'all. I even refused at times. I refused at times not to throw it just because she was whooping me so bad on this black and blue. And she was catching bigger fish. So I'm gonna be honest, y'all, for the last 3 years I have bought the fire out of these, tons of these. So in the long run, I met up with a guy, thanks to you, Jim. Appreciate you, buddy. You've been so kind to the family. Outside of YouTube, you've just been a friend through work that I established with. Customized and made these baits for me. Might not mean much to him as much as it does to me, but I think these are really cool. I think now I hope Jim would check these out. I'm going to send him the link to this video for him, but check out, I hope y'all can check these colors out. So you make that out. So we got like a orange and brown, the red and black, a green and blue. Now these are custom baits, custom mold, y'all, from Spider Monkey Baits. Spider Monkey Baits. So he's an individual feller that makes these, sells these through some local bait shops and stuff here in our state. So not outside of that, but special thanks to you, Jim. Caught plenty of fish on those this year. Mama did not whoop me too bad on the black and blues. So then through YouTube and other videos that we watched, turned us on to these Gulps. They're just 1-inch Gulp minnows. You get them at Walmart. They're pretty expensive, y'all, really. I mean, this one did get dried up, but I mean, it is not, it's not that big, y'all. I mean, 1 inch, and that's probably, you know, about counting the tail. So in the big crappie video that's on the channel and the other ones, y'all, I've had these Gulps in my bag for years. I had 2.5, 3-inch. Never throwed them except like a Brookville to throw for smallmouth and stuff like that. So I was like, Mama, we're gonna get some of these little Gulp minnows and see if we don't catch fish in our waters like they're catching down there on the rivers. And they use these to catch, you know, bluegill and shell crackers and stuff down in the south. And I'm sure people's throw these all over the place here too. I mean, it's not like a secret bait or anything, but I am saying it could just be this year. It could be the scent. I will say that the Gulp in the jars, like this Gulp, this ain't the minnows. These are just the fake corn. But the crappie minnows in the jars seem to be a little bit better. So than in these bags. So these were the last 4. So you're thinking these are like 5 something and some odd change for 10. So you think of that, and in 2 fish, it's like you throwed 50 cents out. You know what I mean? That's exactly, these are 50 cents a minnow. And y'all, I'm telling you, if anything Gulp could do is make these just a little bit tougher. They sometimes rip even almost putting them on the hook. So throwing those on a 16, 32nd ounce jig head, nothing really fancy. I was actually trying to see if I had one for y'all to see. So y'all checked out, I don't know, oh, I thought I must have one. So I'm giving all these fishing tips this year to you guys, and we're kind of wrapping up the year, y'all. It's going to be 20s next week, low in the 20s. So it's the lake has dropped so much that you almost can't even, we couldn't even probably launch our boat. I talked to a couple guys today, and they said the water was way down, and people were having trouble launching their boats and getting them back on the trailer. So, you know, I mean, it's not like, oh, we can go fishing. We literally just, the water starts dropping. So that's why we introduced hiking. And so when we have warm days, we start going back to bank fishing because the water's down so low. And then on the warm days, the fish are up in the north end of the water, mainly because of the water's dropped, and then it's shallow water. So it seems to warm up quicker with the sun, and it's rock banks that warm up quick. So those are the hair rigs. You guys can check those out. I tied up. They did really good this year. I would think about upping the hook size a little bit. I want to say this is a 4. Might go up to a 2. So this hook worked out really good. There was a couple bigger carp that it just seemed like it would stick, but maybe, you know, a little bit bigger gap in the hook, y'all, would be a little bit better of a hookup on some bigger fish. If you're going to catch 8-10 pound carp all day long, that's kind of what you expect, that hook will work all day long. These baits were made by Sony. Picked these up at a garage sale this year, which you can see, $2. So these are like a little Ned bait. I can take them out of the bag if y'all want. So I'm all into the locals. He's supposed to get back with me. This is a cool little bait, y'all. Great for smallmouth. We were unable to hit the river much this year for smallmouth, but definitely got these in the bag to introduce to the river. So awesome little bait. Probably be great at the lake too for smallmouth. So I mean, y'all think about it. Bag stack. This is a 2.5 gallon. That's a gallon bag, and it's, you know, barely able to zip. Nothing but. I mean, that's how much I've been blessed, y'all. Thank you, Jim. Spider Monkey Baits, all custom made bass baits. I probably have enough to last me for 10 years, no joke. I don't think I would bass fish. I mean, if you was in a tournament, that's all you did, it wouldn't last that long. But all custom colors. These are all crawls. These are can't even think of the name of it now. They call those some. Even got some curl tails. Those would be great for walleye and stuff if we throw those. Big fan of the tubes. So, you know, to give y'all a rundown this year, those little 1-inch Gulp minnows were absolutely just slamming fish this year. I mean, we caught almost all the crappie on. We didn't even throw jigs because these were falling so. They fall fairly fast, you guys. With even a 16 or 32nd ounce, they fall pretty quick, really. You know, probably not like that. So, I mean, you're cranking very slow. You're running them really, really slow just to get them down, you know, 3 or 4 foot. But most of those crappie we were catching 6 foot and up water. There was a couple times we was in a 7 or 8 foot hole and throwing them, and we was still catching the suspended crappie. But we do fish for everything, y'all. So the Gulp minnow was catching more catfish than I could catch, throwing on them. When we was trolling the banks and stuff there at the reservoir, we was able to, you know, catch those, and on just a little 1-inch minnow, and you know, hooking those. And you guys check those videos out. So these were cool. I wanted to show you guys these custom made colors. I bought these while I was up there. These are going to be some slamming colors, y'all, in the spring. That's got flake. It's more green than what the camera's putting on, really. There you go. It's not that yellow. It's kind of a little green, but man, I think that's going to be an awesome color. Can't wait to throw these custom baits, Jim. Thank you all for that. We checked the P.O. box out, y'all, today. Little upcoming sneak peek on those. We got blessed today with some 10-foot crappie poles. I think they're 10 foot. Put those together. Looking so forward to using those. I have never used the 10-foot crappie max, like, you know, legit crappie poles. We always just throw lightweight. We don't fish, you know, tournaments or anything like that. We're just out having fun. I get a little serious with myself more than anything, and me and Mama, we have a little tournaments ourselves, you know, having fun. These little, so that mainly this year, y'all. We use these at the creek, you know, your little Gulp, little fake bee larvae. These were kind of cool. Had these for a super long time. I check these out. I think these are glows too. These might glow. I don't know, y'all, if it's just the Gulp, they smell or what. It's funky, but that's a cool little bait. Did catch a smallmouth on that at the creek. But the Gulp in the jar, y'all, is a lot better. You have to order these. Hard to find. We did go to a Royal King, which was about 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes from where we live, and was able to pick up some of those jars early in the year. And man, they've been phenomenal. It's fun. Throw them on no more than 4-pound test, y'all, really. 4-pound test is really all you can throw those on. Actually, this is what we throw this year. It's just a vicious, you know, fishing panfish line, vicious 4-pound test. Big green fan on the line. I love to see my line. And, you know, I think my dad used to fish the green line, and I'll show you what it is. We thrown it for years. I mean, you can tell, y'all, I've had this line for quite some time, and I buy it up and to keep it, but it's kind of got wet in the boat. This is a 40-pound. I do got a couple cat reels with it on it, but I'm a huge trilene fan. Have been my entire life. Used to throw the Vanish when it came out. Other than that, I mean, there was some vicious. I'm not a big fan of this. This was a 17-pound that I bought for leaders. So just was not. If you're going to catfish and catch some catfish over like 10-pound, I do not recommend this line for leaders. If you're going to do leaders, now, something I don't understand, y'all, maybe it's just me, don't knock me too hard. The intentions was when I thought to somewhat, let's see, somewhat make up a leader. Now check this out. Y'all bear with me here. So this is 40 pound. All right. So say you got, I understand the aspect. I really do, guys. If I was to fish big fish, I need to get this in my head. Tell me if I'm wrong. Drop it in the comments. You got any questions about the stuff I'm going to share with you this year? So say you have a swivel, y'all. So I'm just tying an overhand knot, give a demonstration. So say you have a swivel, and you're down to a hook. So most everybody knows on these circle hooks. If you don't know, use a straight shank circle hook. I'll show you this in a minute. So I never quite understood. So you got a swivel attached, and then you might have a sinker, okay? And then of course your main line comes out the top, okay? So, you know, there's your leader, so to say. This is what I do. Say on my pole, I have 25 pound, which is what I do. I have anywhere to 20 on my carp, 25 on my cap holes. So, explain to me, y'all. Everybody says, okay, I'm using a 25 pound line, main line on my pole. And then they go down to a 40, a 30 pound leader. I get it. For monster fish, I get using a leader because of teeth, right? Because of the rubbing on your line. Where we live, if you use the hook into a 20 pound catfish, and it happens all the time, I just think that we get hung up so much where we fish. I mean, we're fishing in the drifts, we're fishing up in the logs, the trees, throwing up on the banks. So the style that we fish, it made sense to me to have, say, a 20, hook my shirt. It would make more sense to me to either just keep my main leader 25 pound, but go in a clear. Reason why, it's just the aspect of the thought that they're not seeing the big fat green line down there in the water. I don't think catfish care. We do it all the time. I don't think they really pay any attention to the color of the line catfish. Now, you're clear water bass fisherman, yes. You want to be as stealthy as you can with your rigs. You want to fish, I think, the lightest line you can get by with, of course, because they're highly pressured. So, especially where we live. But it made more sense to me that if we get hung up, that my leader line, or my hook, or my swivel would break off first. Retaining to that would be my main line with my sinker, which ain't cheap. Of course, the hooks ain't cheap, y'all. But I would much rather break this hook off, break my swivel off, or break my line mainly. I don't think the swivel is going to break off my main line because my leader is going to be a lighter pound test line than my main line. So I used 25 pound main line, and then I bought the 17 pound leader line. I don't like it just because it's cheap line. Just saying. I didn't like it. It broke off too easy. So in our area, y'all, we use a lighter leader. We don't, if you use the fish for fish that's got the teeth in it, if you're fishing for 40, 50 pound blues, I could see maybe you want your bait to be stiffer. So, you know, there's some I think it's using up to 80 pound for leaders. And I see that because if you're drift fishing, catfish swallows this, and you're pulling up the whole time, you know, straight up, this is rubbing on its mouth the whole time. I get it. I'm not saying that. But in our area, so a quick tip, don't always do what everybody else is doing. You know, like if you're fishing for 50 pound blues in the river, you definitely want something stronger, but I'm saying I wouldn't see any difference when using 50 and a 50-pound leader, or 80-pound all the way, you know, main line to leader. I don't know really what the difference is. Maybe you want it smoother on the reel. I don't mind a thicker line on my reel. When you're in a boat, you're not doing long distance casts really most of the time. But here we use lighter leaders than our main line is for breakups. So if you're breaking off, I just want to lose the hook, tie a new hook on. Or if I break off this, I pop this off of a swivel. So on my pole is this black swivel. My leader is the gold swivel, and then I would have just on my pole the swivel attached to a main line with the sinker on top, and that's how I keep my poles. When I'm done fishing, I unclip this. Swivels are cheap, y'all. Put that on there, and then I can put any leader I want, a catfish hook, a carp hook, or whatever. Biggest thing this year that I've went on is when you can get by around here fishing reservoirs with no current, you don't even need weight, y'all. You don't need to weight. Fish the lightest weight you can get by with, the lightest line you can get by with. Why? Because these fish are pressured. These fish know, I think lighter line gives you better action. I think lighter line gives you more fall on your line. Your lures act a little bit better. I've noticed that. So I think that's why the Gulp, we're just slamming them this year, because we was using 4-pound tests, which in all of my life I've never used 4-pound. The lowest I've ever went was 6. Most of the time, 90% of the time, I was throwing 10-pound because I would end up catching catfish or a big bass, and I just couldn't bear the thought of losing that fish because I had 4 or 2-pound test line on. So we learned to fish some different stuff this year, y'all. And so I give you guys an update with that. I only use circle hooks. I do just team catfish, 6-aught, 7-aught. I will throw up here. That's for channel cat. Remember, y'all, I learned something. Well, where it went? Okay, here we go. Without this swivel attached to it, though. Think about this. This is a 8-aught. This is a 8-aught circle hook. What I use, very sharp. You say you surely don't throw this for channel cat. Yes, I do around here. Think about the bottom lip of a channel cat. If you're catching a decent sized channel cat, he's able to eat a pretty decent. His mouth is about the size of my hand. So when he goes to bite and you pull, think about that rotating about the size of my thumb, might be the size of his lip. That hook is going to get all the way around that lip of that fish and bury in there, or in the corner of the mouth normally, like that. So bigger hooks. I started to throw these little 4s, 6s circle hooks for channel cat. I thought that'd be great for channel cat. All right, think about this stuff. That big channel cat comes by, eats my bait on here. He grabs it. Look what happens, y'all. I cannot even get, I'm just getting barely in my finger. Barely in my finger, y'all. So think about the gap of the circle hook needs to be about the size of the fish you want to catch. So if you're catching little, down to Brookville when we was using little stink bait and stuff, this was great. So think about that. I mean, it has to be, even my pinky barely gets in there. So that's a pretty small lip. Like when you think about the lip of a fish, y'all, the whole, when you grab a catfish, if he's somewhere around 8 or 10 pounds, he's got a pretty good size lip on him. So the bigger the better on the catfish. They're not too picky. If they want to eat it, you know, they'll eat it. But this is an 8-aught, I believe. And had a ton of these for years. Mama throws the old classic Eagle Claw, loves it because she likes setting the hook. This is a 2. This is a 2-aught. What I mainly use for Mama. She likes to throw the night crawlers and all that. Mainly why I don't catch so many fish is because I'm throwing bigger bait, y'all. I'm throwing, you know, big chunks of shad most of the time, trolling it, throwing it, trying to find the bigger fish. So Mama normally whoops me. Y'all see this table, y'all, it's a mess. Give me a drink of coffee. So, y'all wonder what we use. Y'all listen. I'm a working man, and there was a time when I was in my teens that I was able to afford, you know, the best of the best. We was out there, I remember paying, you know, at that time when I was 16, 18 years old, you know, I was buying top end line that, you know, come out. Of course it was local, it wasn't ordered online then, of course. But I'm saying I was buying the Vanish. I was buying, I don't even think fluorocarbon. I'm sure fluorocarbon was out, but I was using, you know, that kind of stuff. I was buying that stuff. You know, I was buying high-end fishing line that they had out. Or, yeah, is this what you use? The lures. I remember when Bill Dance come out with all of his spitting images, and we was paying $5 a lure, $10 for Magnum jitterbugs and stuff. And, you know, this, oh man, this crazy stuff. Remember this lure that used to come out? Y'all ever throw this? I've had this, my wife bought me this. This was a $20 lure, y'all. Remember this? Mojo Minnow signed. Who was it? I can't even remember. Chuck? Charles? I don't know. I ain't sure. I can't even read his name, y'all. Remember this little popper thing? This is, you throw it out there, it hits the water. This thing's worked for over 15 years. Probably almost 20 now. I've had this, y'all. Still painted up, still works. The bass have knocked the paint off of it. Remember these old lures, y'all? People throw for muskie, we throw them for bass at farm ponds, crawfish, you know, your Magnum, your jitterbugs. You know, had these for years. Now to buy these lures are what, $7, $8 now, where they was like $3 or $4 then. That was the most expensive lure that I ever bought. Actually, I didn't buy it. The wife bought it for me. I remember us going the first day I ever fished. It was at a farm pond. I caught a 3-pound bass on that. Wore him out that day in that farm pond. Caught 6 or 8 if I remember right. That thing sit on top of the water and it just moved like that. And you just jerk it, and that flutters, and they'd sit right under it, boom, and then they'd hit it. So y'all used to be into that, really. But to the working man today, listen. You can go buy these. I went to Walmart. They had Team Catfish circle hooks there. These, thank goodness, from Sony, the local feller at a garage sale. I bought these leads. He had a really good price on them. Was my all-time favorite lure for bass. Right there. Black and blue jig. Man. Good stuff right there. And so, listen. You don't have to go all out, but don't go the cheapest, y'all. Cheapest is fine if you're just going to go out and plank and you don't really care. But if you want to get a little bit serious, but this line, you can see how full this is. I bought that for liters. Not working out for me. It will probably go in the trash. But I keep it back for, I will use that if I'm just going to throw for 2 and 3 pound channel catch, y'all. I'll use it. Make up some cheap liters on the bank, but that's so old. That's trilene, big game. I need to upload. Mama, get with her. I had 15-pound big game on, bass fishing a farm pond, hooked into a 54.5-pound grass carp with 15-pound on an Abu Garcia, big old round bait casters what I was fishing with. I would have never got it in if I didn't have a lot of line on. But I had 15 pound on that with a 7/6 rod, just a bass outfit. And I brought that fish in on 15-pound big game line, hooked in the dorsal fin, and I was hooked. I mean, that I thought if that fish was in trees, I mean, full-grown trees in the water, it was amazing that it even held up. I don't know how it didn't get off. I mean, only I can say the Lord just wanted me to land that fish. And we will get a picture of that at some time and show y'all, maybe in a live or something, and show you that it was a really amazing fish, and it hooked me. So I think what works for you, y'all, works, you know. So I'm only paying what, $10 now for Trilene Big Game. It's not failed me. I've upped it to 20 and 25. I used the solar. I've ordered it because at one time it got lapsed for a while. So I don't know, I hope I'm not boring y'all out too much, but these are just some insights out there on Goodson's Adventures, what we do, what I use. We have bags, and like I've had to upgrade y'all to got this in an Army surplus. Just because we just do so much stuff. So in that bag, I'm able to put the minnow stuff in it. I'm able to put bluegill stuff in it. We even have all this stuff fits in there with more room than I need. These are all my flies. If I don't dump them on you, I tie my own flies. I got into that a couple years ago. Cool little bait. That one come from Tennessee, a little frog lure there. I tied my own little mice lures, and poppers and streamers and some jigs, y'all, all kinds of stuff. I'm still not like perfected on it, but I've caught quite a few smallmouth. Not a whole lot of largemouth on them yet, but so what I'm getting to is it doesn't really matter. This is what I use. It's not the greatest. There you go. Not the greatest bag, but it's got a big front pocket. I put all the pliers in there. I mean, I have to think for myself, and you know, Mama and Isaac, and so I'm working on a new bag, and it's if the Lord works it out, y'all, a Marting Top 75 liter, which is not too much bigger than the Kelty that I got, and it's a budget bag, a little over $100 I think for it, something like that. The reason I'm wanting that bag is I did a ton of reviews on bags, and it's got a full open zipper in the front, so hopefully here by Christmas, maybe it'd be my little Christmas gift. I told her I plan on getting that Marting Top bag, and the reason is I'm going to be able to carry a variety of everything we need. Mama's normally stuck most of the time with other stuff, and Isaac, you know, you can't expect your kids to carry a whole lot, but he's a big help. But you got to carry a lot of stuff, y'all. So when we're transporting from truck to boat, and from boat to going to the bank, I'm telling y'all, like, it really gets exhausting, to be honest with you. It gets exhausting because things get misplaced and lost. So I found that bag, and it's actually like the Army surplus. It used to be able to be a laptop bag, and it's got this huge pocket in the front. That's where I keep all that line. That's why it fell out, but it's Velcro. It doesn't matter what you can use a backpack if you want, but I put all that in there, and then I know practically everything that we could possibly need is in that bag, whether it be bluegill hooks, the Gulp, the small jig heads. I use like I said, the 8/0 catfish, because when we go out, all this stuff is needed, because I don't know what I'm going to throw. I'm even now thinking about the carp. We just went out there and tried to catch crappie, and then all we seen was big carp, you know, just down 100 yards, maybe down the bank in a cove, and they kept splashing. I'm like, man, if I just had a can of corn and a hair rig, we could probably go down there and in 30-40 minutes probably catch a carp or two. So think about that, and this is just kind of us, because that's why we are Goodson's Adventures, y'all. Eventually, you know, we probably going to get, and mainly we do crappie and catfish. That is the main thing. but I throw bass lures when we're out. You never know. I think I'm the type of person to be too prepared. Like, I carry too much stuff. Like, I gotta think of Isaac. Does he want snacks? Is the bugs gonna be bad? I got a bug spray. Do I need leaders? Am I gonna throw? Do I need sinkers? Do I not need any weight today? Especially even on the boat. The boat, I've got to have everything on, which is not a problem. But when we're transitioning from the boat to truck, well, then you got to pull I got to pull my bag out. I got to go get the poles, and I got to load them in the truck. Well, then I need pole holders now because we're going on the banks, and then I got to load pole holders up. So that I'm definitely on the elimination part of, getting a bag that I can do it all. So that means I'm gonna have to double up on some fishing stuff. So I'm gonna have to double up and keep mainly on the boat what we use on the boat. The other will be in the bag and kept in the truck, or at home or wherever. You can just grab it and you know that, okay, we're going to the creek, or we're going to the pond, or hey, we're just going to go to the reservoir, or we're going to go to the lake and hike. And then so we're able to things to look into. So I'm able to grab that bag, the hiking bag, put the snacks in it, the fishing stuff's already in it, a couple poles. You don't have to get crazy with the poles, but I still kind of do. Still normally take 3 poles, and Mama 1 or 2, 2 or 3 normally for her, and a couple for Isaac. So you think about this, like 6 poles, at least 7, 8, sometimes 8. Mama's 3, my 3. So always keep a light action pole we do, and I always take 2 of my bait casters, whether that be for carp, cats, and I try to, there again, using a lighter leader, I still can throw or put a 3 or 4 foot leader on there and start bass fishing, and that 25 pound or 20 pound green line is not going to affect the bass as much. So sorry to be so lengthy on the video, but I think it's necessary to talk about this stuff and give you guys an update. Other than that, it's just your average stuff, y'all. Fishing and adventures is about fun. I think a lot of things today are a little overrated. I've noticed that. If you could get a box of, just a box, y'all, of, your hooks, your sinkers, some jig heads, a thing of Gulp, throw it in a backpack, few poles, have fun. And I try to keep that, especially for you kids, y'all. Isaac sometimes, Isaac sometimes wants to be all into fishing, and sometimes he just wants to play around, and that's okay. At his age, I lived and breathed it and loved it and couldn't get enough of it, and I'm sure I drove my family nuts with, we're going to go fishing? Are we going to go fishing? And I was constantly doing, putting bass lures. At that time, I bass fished mainly 90% of the time and pay-laked fish a lot. And so, all this rattling, y'all. I hope this video is going to help you guys with what we used. But I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong with a thing of Gulp, 2 or 3, because you're going to lose them. Things of jig heads, things of Gulp, 16, 32nd ounce. They're all pretty much standard. They're very small, a very small head. There's nothing special about them. You can pick it up at your local Walmart, throw it on some 4-pound ultralight pole, and go have some fun and catch some fish. So we don't mean to brag most of the time, really, just being funny. But we hardly ever have went completely fishless. I can't even remember hardly last fishing trip where we did. So and the reason is because we take so much stuff. If you just gonna go catfishing, carp fishing, yeah, we would have went fishless. But we pull up and we're like, okay, these ain't biting today. We'll throw a Gulp on, we'll throw a curl tail on, we'll take 1/8 ounce jig heads, 1/4 ounce jig heads. I'll take a bass lure, y'all, and throw it, tie it on. Having fun, trying to find fish. Maybe they're not in that area. Maybe there's crappie stacked in the cove and you don't know about, and all you brought was catfish and stuff. So it does pay off to overload. It does pay off to take the time to have Everybody's got like a get home bag. Everybody's got a EDC and everyday carry. And when you go fishing, you got to think of the same things, y'all. Take a little box and just throw everything in it. Throw some rooster tails in it. Throw some little baby bluegill hooks and some split shots. Dig up a worm, you know. You guys seen that? You guys have gave me challenges when we just pull up and doing a live and said, hey, go down there and catch some. We'll make our own hooks out of wire if we have to, you know. It's all about having fun. And that's what Goods and Adventures about. Mama's in there starting on Thanksgiving dinner. Daddy's in here bringing y'all video, Goods and Adventures. It's had a blast. We got some new stuff in the P.O. box. Like I said, can't wait. They'll be coming up in a new video. Stay tuned, y'all. Ton of stuff coming. I want to open y'all up to some other stuff. We did self bows. We're just doing everything, and that's just who we are. We're not a master of anything. We fish everything, everything outdoors. So bike riding, hiking. Now we're introducing camping. The hiking and fishing is fun. I kind of use it as a challenge to catch fish. We might open up some more stuff to you too. In the making. So y'all stay tuned. Thank y'all for your support. Appreciate you watching. Listen, share this stuff. Stay tuned to this video from front to back. I'm hoping I shared some great tips with you about your leaders. If you're not fishing massive teethy blue cats or, you know, northern pike, something's got some teeth that's going to, even walleye maybe you can shred it. I don't know. Me and Mama's caught how many walleye this year on 4-pound test and got them in. Thankful for that, you know. So it can be done. Don't overrate it. You don't just have fun, you know. If that's what you got, make it work, you know. Goods and Adventures, y'all. We're gonna sign you out. Thank you all. We've been blessed. Thankful for this year. What all we've done. Going through all this. That's in the making, like I said. So y'all pray that I get my new bag. I share that with you and what all's going to be in that. And there's a reason why I want that bag, of course. Us guys got our preferences, and I'll show that to you. Don't want to spoil that for you. So, Goods and Adventures, y'all signing out, and appreciate you. Have a good night. We love you, and keep fishing. God bless.